Good morning, wherever you are. It's time for the Monday Minute. I'm Kristen Paul. I hope y'all had a great weekend. It was a warm one here yesterday. Today, they're talking 92, which I know to a lot of you that's hot. I've been in a lot hotter. That's for sure. The bad thing is that dew point is getting to be about as high as it can go, so you work up a sweat just standing wherever. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? Well, first thing I was going to talk about is the last picture I posted. That was out of Brookside, Alabama. Of course, we have Jan with us as always. So what's the deal with the cemetery? Well, it's kind of a weird thing. When I was down there, across the road from that, this place is set back from the road a good 50 yards, shall we say? It is basically across the road from St. Michael's Cemetery in Brookside, Alabama. And the interesting thing about this cemetery, it's gated, it's locked up, but you can tell by the stones that it is, how can I term this? Recent additions. What do I mean by recent additions? Well, it's still in use. They're still obviously burying people there. So, okay, it's all good. The odd thing is this: if you go on Google Maps, this cemetery does not exist. It is not on Google Maps. There is no signage at all. Now, maybe somebody from the Birmingham area can, kind of fill me in on this because I'm kind of curious as to what the place is and what its affiliation is. Of course, when I was there, I mean, we did run a spirit session there, and I was promptly told to get out. I know that's a surprise, right? Get out. Thinking about it, that's probably like one of the top, pardon me, we have had air quality issues in my area lately. We got smoke from Canadian forest fires, and high humidity is making for breathing difficulties for a whole lot of folks. Anyway, yeah, I'm just curious if anybody's got any info on this cemetery. Let me switch up some glasses here. Hey, there you are. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about is the Western swing today. I've been doing the Western swing for quite a while now. The very first Western swing that I did started at the Pioneer Saloon in Good Springs, Nevada. Good Springs is getting pretty close to the California border. So a little ways outside of Vegas. Gosh, if you've been into para for a while, everybody pretty well knows what the Pioneer is. It's definitely got a history. I do have a couple of interesting video clips from the Pioneer. Go on our YouTube channel. Um, I think if you look under the haunted locations tab, and this is from a while back, so you're going to have to scroll back a ways, but there is at least two videos from that location with the REM pod and my silver turquoise bracelet, because I have found it to be that working girls from back in the day, well, let's just say you could get a favor for silver or gold if you didn't actually have any cash. I'm not going to elaborate on that if I got to explain that to you something wrong anyway. All right, let's move on here. Oh, by the way, I was going to add, last week I talked about retirement. Well, there's more snags now because you have an attorney, they have an attorney, and there's tit for tat back and forth. Yeah, blah 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 blah. It's not like when you're working a job where you can just pack up and walk away. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, so it all started, with the Western swing. Over the course of years, the American Southwest is such a haunted place in general. Nevada, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico. Although I have never done New Mexico on the Western swing, I have done some parts of New Mexico. And of course, Texas, which we'll be going back to in just a couple short weeks. That'll be a good time. We're looking forward to that. But what I was going to say is that everything I do out on the Western swing, you have to appreciate the driving time. Now, I know a lot of people, well, I just drive and we go here. And well, yeah, I know. Generally, as I've said before, the Western swing starts in Vegas. Well, there have been times it has ended in Vegas, but it generally starts in Vegas. And then I just plot a route from there. There are several directions you can go in. I guess it just depends on what do you want to pursue while you're out there. Now, last year we were in Acadia, Arizona, at the Acadia Sanatorium and Ranch, or Ranch Sanatorium. It's a little ways outside of Tucson. I tell you, you really have to appreciate the driving time that goes into the Western swing. Even though I fly out there, it's a lot of seat time. I could definitely hit more places, but places are spread apart. To those of you that have never been on the road out west, New Mexico is a good example. Arizona, definitely. Utah, definitely. Nevada, definitely. Here in Wisconsin, even if you're out in the country, within a 10 to 20-minute ride, you're going to hit some small town something. You're going to find something. You get out west out there, it's not like that. You can ride for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just depending on what direction you're going into. And you gotta be careful. I tell you, watch your gas gauge, because I have been in small towns out there where there is no fuel stop. What is a good example of that? Goldfield, Nevada. Now, there's also a Goldfield, Arizona, which I've been to, but Goldfield, Nevada is a perfect example. There is a town, there's all kind of haunts, the hotel, the school, definitely the cemetery. There's some other buildings there too that I would love to get into, just to investigate, and maybe some of them are accessible, but not being from around there. I do have one. I don't want to even say I do have a contact in that town. I did have a contact in that town, but I haven't been to Goldfield for a couple of years now. So I don't even know if my contact out there is still there. This year, I've had this thought in my mind, and I don't know if it's going to be possible or not. I would really be interested in seeing if I could get into the commercial casino in Elko. Now, my understanding is the first floor, at least part of it, right now is been converted to some kind of family fun center kind of thing. I have heard rumor that the second floor, where the hotel rooms are, has been open for investigations, and the basement, but I don't know how current my information is. Also, now if you're going to start in Vegas, as I most likely will, Elko is almost 7 hours away, not including gas stop, potty stop, which out there sometimes is just right on the side of the highway. That's the reality of it. A lot of time you can drive, ain't nobody behind you for a while, or in front of you for a while, just depending where within the state you are. There is a stop about halfway between Vegas and Elko, Ely. I've heard people call it Eli, even though it's not spelled like the name Eli, but it's Ely, Nevada. The Nevada Northern Railroad is there. That place has got some haunted shit. That rail yard, if you ever get to Ely, get to that rail yard. Keep your camera rolling and your eyes open, because anything could happen. There is definitely activity, especially in the engine shops. And there have been deaths on the grounds. That was the place where a very long time ago, like 1800s, okay, where somebody that worked for the railroad got caught between two coupled rail cars. I can only imagine the level of pain this individual must have been in. And of course, they had to get him out of there. But before they got him out, they called his family to come and see him for that final goodbye. Because as soon as they uncoupled that train, that's what was holding his body and his blood together, was that coupling being coupled. Once they undid it, I'm sure this individual bled out in a minute or two. Very unfortunate scenario for this person. I don't know his name, but I do think there is record of it that you could look up and find out. But a haunted place for sure. The hotel downtown, Hotel Nevada, stayed there. That was kind of an interesting spot too, because when I'm in a hotel, we always got to do the roam the halls, a little late night investigation on the low low. I was getting all kind of shit on the DR60, all kind of stuff. So there's definitely spirit hanging out in there. Now let's just say I can confirm some kind of date, and that the other thing that makes it hard is weekday. Now, there's a lot of places out there that you can investigate pretty much every weekend of the year, with the exception of maybe, I don't know, Christmas or something. But not every location is open for investigation weekday. Weekend, yeah. Weekday, some are, but not everybody. But my first thing to do, I have to find a contact for that. All right, so now let's just say that works out for the swing this year. I love those out west cemeteries. Those are always very interesting. And once you're there, then you've got another decision to make. You basically have two choices. You can drive west to Reno, fly back home out of Reno, or you can drive east to Salt Lake City and fly back home out of Salt Lake City. But even with that, that's going to be at least a 3 hour plus ride one direction or the other. There's still I'm still in the early stages, so there's a ton of research I got to do, but a lot of things going on with trying to retire and all of that. So, but anyway, that's the plan tentatively. I am open to suggestions. California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona. If there's a place you think we should hit, lay it on me. If there's a place you're curious about, maybe we've already been there, because I have been to several locations out there. Just ask and we'll talk about it. Pardon me. We'll talk about it next week. Okay? All right, that's today's Monday Minute. Trying to make some plans on the Western Swing. Looking for your suggestions. Questions, comments? You know where to put them. Anything you'd like me to cover on the minutes? You know where to put them. Please be good to each other. We're all we got. Be good to each other. That being said, peace out.